Hey guys, this is Tim Anderson from over at Complete Writing Solutions, and this is going to be the first video in my 5-part video series showcasing the actual methods and practices that I talk about in my ebook, Content Writing 101, How to Make a Minimum of $50 an Hour Writing for Content Mills. Now before we get started, there's going to be a few things I want to cover before I actually get into the writing so that you can understand exactly what it is that we're getting into. First and foremost, this is my laptop screen. You can see me moving around my mouse here in the bottom middle of the screen. I've got Google Chrome is my preferred browser, although I used to use Mozilla Firefox. Microsoft Word's open in the background. I've already got Dragon Naturally Speaking loaded up and ready to go. I can close this actually. It's a Camtasia file. And then down here at the bottom you'll see my Camtasia Studios program, which is up and running, and I'm currently recording the audio and whatever's on my screen. Over here in the bottom right, just like with everybody else's computer, you'll be able to see a time date stamp, which I'm going to use this as a reference point whenever I start and finish an article. I'm going to be referencing what time of the day it is, so that you can clearly see that I'm hitting that 15 minutes per article mark to do 4 articles in an hour reliably, consistently for Demand Studios and equivalent content mills where you are required to do 400 to 500 word articles, such as with BrightHub or Pure Content Media or Text Provider. A couple of things before we get started. First and foremost, we're not going to be covering any advanced strategies in these sessions. I've already talked about this in the introduction video. However, some of the things we need to cover in advance is what I would consider common sense, and what most people who are making a decent living, say $25 to $30 an hour, writing for content mills, already know. And that is, you need to be sticking to topics which you already have an extensive amount of knowledge on, or topics which are easily researchable and or do not require a lot of detail. This is the common sense way of remaining profitable at content writing for content mills, and anybody who's out there who's been doing this for a significant amount of time will tell you the same thing. Another tidbit that I'm including that is not exactly advanced is the fact that I use Dragon Naturally Speaking. Many people use dictation software. It's actually become one of the most commonplace writing tools in this day and age. So you could consider this another free tip, free piece of advice to show you a couple of ways to increase your productivity against straight typing. When people talk to me about how they still type by hand, my natural response to them is this. When you need to print flyers for, let's just say you have children and your kid is putting on an event at their church, or they're going to do a garage sale or something like that, and you need to produce a flyer. You're not going to go to the museum, dig up an old hand-cranked printing press, and hand-crank the flyers. You know, set the type, paint on the ink, crank the press, repeat the process for each individual page. You're not going to do that. The reason for that is simple. Technology has advanced to the point where you no longer need to use a hand-cranked printing press to produce flyers. You can use an inkjet printer, or you can use a laser printer, or some other form. In fact, these days you also don't even need print material if you're someone who can rely on the digital format, such as PDFs and Kindles and so on and so forth. Emails, newsletters, these are the types of things that don't even require ink anymore. The point is, technology has advanced. You wouldn't use a hand-cranked printing press to print out flyers, so why would you continue typing by hand? It's a simple question, and while it might sound a little argumentative, it is true. If there was a method out there that could allow you to increase your productivity by 2 or 3 times what it is currently, don't you think that you're doing yourself a favor by using that software or that technology, that advancement in human evolution? With that being said, I think typing by hand is one of the biggest mistakes anyone can make when it comes to being productive in a writing career. Because quite simply, when you type by hand, you're holding yourself back. It's kind of like using a wooden ship with sails to cross the ocean to go to a meeting. You get there 3 months later and you're complaining because, oh, the meeting's already passed, and everyone else is looking at you going, why didn't you just use an airplane to get here? Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and open up my Demand Studios platform here. Go into my work desk. Now, as you can see, I've actually already got some articles chosen. I'm going to go ahead and enlarge this so we can get a better view. Actually, 4 of them expire tomorrow, so we'll probably be writing those today. Now, I want to go through these real quick to show you that I'm not just picking articles that I am familiar with. For example, I do have an extensive amount of knowledge in home improvement, so for me, being able to talk about how to cut small angles with a miter saw is extremely simple, and I can rattle it off the top of my head. Same with tips for modeling contractors. Combining wood and ceramic flooring, another extremely easy for me because I worked in ceramic for so long. Power tools, maintenance. This one's probably going to require a brief amount of research, but I've done some previous articles on cleaning and maintaining air conditioning systems, so I already have resources set up for that. When I say set up for that, what I should instead say is that, in particular, I have written similar articles at Demand Studios before in the past. So all I have to do before I get into writing that article is go into my past work tab, real quick go through and find the other articles that I've written on that subject and pull up the references that I used for that. Another option for some people is to actually set up a bookmarks tab with all of your resources and references in it. Another good free tip for you. However, you'll also see that I've pulled articles here, for example, Roses of Georgia. That's a topic I don't have any previous knowledge about, but you know what? Roses of Georgia is pretty simple. What kind of roses are there? I don't know what kind of roses there are, but we're going to plug that into Google and we're going to see what kind of roses there are in Georgia, and we're going to write about them. How to hide pages in WordPress 2.9. I'm actually fairly familiar with WordPress because I use it to maintain my 2 websites, so that's a pretty easy one for me. Unsubscribe an email address. That's one of those ones where you see it in the pool of articles to claim and you think to yourself, you know, wow, this is such a simple topic. Any child could write about this, and that's true. Everybody knows how to unsubscribe an email address. This is a completely simple, extremely easy article to write. How to live in your place of business. It's something that I actually do because I work and travel for a living. But that basically just means working out of your home. Pretty self-explanatory. How to avoid rolling a kayak. I don't personally have a lot of knowledge with kayaking, but I look at the title and I immediately know, there's a ton of information out there about kayaking. It's a popular sport, so I know for a fact that it's going to be an article that requires very little in the terms of research. I'm going to plug that phrase into Google and I'm going to come up with, probably in the first 5 results, pages that I'm allowed to use as a resource that aren't blacklisted with Demand Studios. As to how I find assignments, somebody's going to for sure question why I don't include finding assignments in my time allotment for this particular video segment. I'm not including finding assignments in my time allotment. I'm going to show you why. I'll give you a brief rundown right now, but I'm going to show people in more detail after the fact. Because I don't consider the find assignments segment of my content writing to actually be worth. It's a negligible time factor. It's 2 minutes at most. I don't really consider that something that's cutting into my productivity. And what I actually do is when I write the daily articles, however many articles I write for the day, I immediately go back into the Find Assignments tool and replenish those that I've just written so that I continually have a pool of articles for whenever I'm actively writing at Demand Studios. I always focus on the $15 articles, so I already just automatically filter through those. And now there's basically 3, if not 4, categories that I consider myself fairly proficient in. that's not to say that I don't just go through the general forum. So what I'll do in the very beginning is I'll go through like the first 5 pages, and if I haven't seen anything that catches my eye real quick, I'll just go ahead and click through my category filters. So real quick, I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm just going to, if I see something that pops out to me, I'm gonna hover over it and tell you why I would choose that project. You'll have to forgive me if I don't talk that much here. Okay, for example, how to fix a frozen central AC. This is a common enough topic that I would probably consider a quick and easy doer, because most of the time, this is common knowledge, an air conditioner usually freezes because of the fact that you're running it too much. So it's going to be one of the simplest ways to fix a frozen central AC unit is to simply turn down the thermostat. It's that simple. So that's a very easy to write article, and while it's not covering 50 different ways to fix a frozen central AC unit, it is covering the topic in a way that is according to Demand Studio's guidelines. They want you to tell people how to fix a frozen central AC unit. You're going to give people 1, maybe 2. You could talk about how you could put warm water on the coils. I believe that's what they're called. I'd have to research that again real quick. But you could put warm water on it to thaw it out real quick. There are 1 or 2 quick and easy ways that you could describe in a how-to article that would allow you to write that very quickly. Youth hostels, again, you know, what you could do is you could actually copy that real quick, paste it over into here, and see if there's a real quick place to go to see what kind of youth hostels are available in this particular city. This particular website only shows 1. Again, I would choose to only stay here like 30 seconds or more, and if you could pick up a real quick 5 or 6 reference sites to use, you could probably go ahead and pick that article, because as a topic view you need at least 4 references. So you need to find 4 real quick in here. If you can do that, it's something worth claiming. Let's go down here. Nothing else that I would see that for me is something that I could do really quick. Gay clubs in Brandon, Minnesota is another one where I would copy paste over to Google real quick and see if I could find 4, because it's a topic view. This is an iffy. How to get paid on publishings. That's an iffy. I have construction experience, so I'd be able to quickly rewrite that one. I know how to use a PVC sprinkler. That's quick and easy. Types of construction methods. That's quick and easy. So as you can see, already in 2 minutes, just from the general category, I've pulled 5 or 6 articles, several of which I didn't even have experience on. We'll go 1 more page just to see if there's anything else. How to build a hub site, that's pretty self-explanatory, and there's a ton of information about that on the internet, so that would be a quick and easy writer. That's another easy one. Just plug that into Google and you're going to find a ton of websites that tell you about what kind of white mushrooms you can find in Mississippi, and since it's a topic view, you only need to find 4. Another one you could talk about, there's so many different massage table crafts. Pupa, that's insects. You can plug that into Google and probably find a couple of places from National Geographic and otherwise real quick. So again, first 3 pages I've already found, say 6 or 7 articles to replace whatever I've got. And if I really need to refine it down further, I can go down here and go into my niches, and if I really want to get crazy with it, I can go in and filter through my keywords. I generally don't use keywords when I'm working through Demand Studios, simply because I have so many niches on which I can write, and I'm not always picking within my niches. I'm also looking for easy to write articles. Alright, with that in mind, we're going to go over to my work desk here, and we're going to go ahead and get started on one of these articles here. Before I actually get started, I'm going to go ahead and pause this recording so that I can get a drink of water before I actually get going. And then we're going to check the timestamp here like I'm doing right now, and then we're going to continue this video segment and start the actual 4 articles in 1 hour challenge. Stay tuned.